welcome to the channel. My name's Annie and this is my creative detour. Today I'm starting a new challenge. I'm joining in on a challenge that is ran by Michelle from the Junk Journal studio, and the challenge actually started on the 28th of November and it runs through till the 19th of December, so I'm getting in a little bit later than everybody else. But you can join in at any time, and I just felt like doing a few more Christmas projects. For those of you that are new, welcome to the channel, and I hope you enjoy the video today. And to my regulars, hi again, and thank you for coming back and cheering me on. I really appreciate it. But for those of you that are new, you probably don't know that I love Christmas. So much so that all through the year this year, I have been doing a Christmas project and posting it on the 25th of every month. But I still felt like doing something Christmassy. So I went on the hunt looking for a challenge that I could join and just drop in and out whenever I wanted to. And this one really stood out to me and I loved the digitals. So a few days ago, I purchased a few of the packs that you've got to use in the challenge. Now, I will link Michelle's video below because she explains everything much better than what I will be able to. But essentially, the challenge is a botanical Christmas challenge. So you have to use at least one of her mega packs in the botanical range and one of her new Christmas collections as well. Well, as you can see, I purchased two of the botanicals, one in green and one in red, and this one is called the base kit and the red one is called the add-ons. And I also purchased the Christmas Wonder journaling pages, and I got the huge Christmas ephemera mega pack. So they're the 4 packs that I will be using, and in the challenge you have to create something using something from a botanical and something from the Christmas. So you can purchase these from Michelle, and like I said, I will link her Etsy store below, and the hashtag is hashtag botanical Christmas challenge, and that will just bring you up into a hashtag group, and then you'll be able to watch all of the other people that are participating in the challenge. And yeah, I'll be putting my hashtag on that as well, so head over there. But today you're probably thinking, okay Annie, but what are you making? So let's have a quick look at what I'm making. I love using up some of my junk journal hoards, so things that I have been stashing, and I keep envelopes from everybody in the household, so whenever they get given a greeting card, they keep the card for themselves and they give me the envelope. I've got quite a few of these envelopes, and these are from Typo, and that would have had a greeting card in it from somebody. And I've decided to turn them into large policy envelopes. And I'm going to decorate them. So I'm not going to make the envelope. I'm going to use some junk and decorate them with the kits, and we're going to do one on camera today. So let me get set up and we'll start decorating the envelope. So let's have a look at what we've got. Now I have prepped quite a bit. I have a background done. I have 2 flaps done. And then I have some ephemera fussy cut out, and I've just backed them onto a little bit of cartridge paper to make them a little bit sturdier. And we're going to glue those down. Now this image here is out of the Botanicals, I think it was the red add-ons mega pack. So it's going to go on there, but I'm not going to glue that down first. I'm going to decorate it with the ephemera. As you can see, I've just fussy cut and inked some of the ephemera. So let's get some art glitter glue and we're going to lay this out. Now some of these images I cut down from some of the postcards that were in that mega ephemera pack. So let's put this one down. I actually am not sure what this is. I'm actually not sure what that is. It's some sort of chart with numbers on. So for those of you that are new and don't know me, I really appreciate you stopping by and watching my video today. For some of the newies, I might just fill you in with a little bit of background on me. I live in Brisbane, Australia, and I've only been doing my YouTube channel for about a year now. So I have 3 children, a daughter and 2 sons, and my daughter is married. So I have 3 sons really. And my daughter and son-in-law and grandchildren, they live in our house, and we live in our granny flat, my husband and I. So we get to see our grandchildren every single day, which is absolutely one of the joys of my life. And then we have our eldest son, he lives in Melbourne, and my youngest son, he lives in Europe. Now, all of my children and my mother and some of my friends had been saying to me for years, you should do a YouTube channel. Well, I wasn't sure about doing a YouTube channel, to be honest. So as you can see, I'm just building up the composition with some bits. Well, that sticks, so I'm going to just tuck this under here. So before my son moved to Europe last year, the end of last year, he said, okay, Mum, I'll set your YouTube channel up and then we'll do a few videos, and then if you like doing it, you can just keep doing it. So that's how I ended up starting my YouTube channel. He set it up and then showed me how to do a few videos, and here we are a year later, and I'm still doing videos, and I actually love creating the videos, which I'm not surprised about because I used to teach some different programs in my career. So that's my YouTube story. What do I make? Some of you might be thinking, but Annie, what do you make? Well, this is the reason I called it my creative detour, because I like making lots of different things. Sometimes I do watercolor, sometimes I do mixed media, sometimes I might paint some pots or do some macrame or, all different things. But what I do love doing the most is collage art. I love doing collage compositions with paper and even mixed media. I like doing things like that. So that's where we're at. Okay, so we've got all that glued down, and before I glue it on there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it to the sewing machine, and I'm going to take my top to the sewing machine, and I'm just going to whiz around it with some stitching, and I'll be back. Okay, I've sewn around that, and I've sewn around the front flap. I haven't worried about doing the back flap. Now, I actually have made 2 other samples that I will show at the end of some other envelope. So all up, I'll be showing you 3 envelopes. But what I'm going to do now is I think I'm going to put some white splatters on this, and I'm just going to use some Liquitex acrylic ink. I don't want it on her face. And I don't want any on the label. That will do. And I'll dry that off. I've got those splatters touch dry, but not perfectly dry. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do some measuring, and I'm going to measure the middle of my top of my envelope, and I'm just going to put a dot in the middle because I want to put a circle closure on this. Now what I've made here, you can see I have 2 buttons that I've got that I've made, and all I did was I die cut out of some red cardstock to match my mound. I die cut out 6 circles, and they're a stitched circle die, and the die was just in my stash. And the size of this one is, it's about 2 centimeters, which is just over 3/4 of an inch. And I glued 3 together so that it was really quite sturdy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a hole in the center of where I've measured, and I'm going to put these on with a brad. Now the reason I'm putting this through is because I want to glue this on and hide the brad behind the backing. So I'm going to glue this down and put a brad on. So let's get out, let's see what colour we like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just glue this on to the flap of my envelope. You can see that I've already lightly inked it, and I'm just going to put glue at the top here and then on the bottom of my envelope flap, and we'll glue that on, getting it centered. Now I'm going to push that hole through my flap of my envelope and put my button on. Now I need to put a hole in my button. I think I like the 5 cents at the top, so I'm just going to put a hole in the center of this. So I'll put it onto my mat and use the grid to help get the center. And I'm going to just eyeball it. I'm using my awl to do a little bit of a hole in it. Put my brad through and through the hole, and I'll split that open. And I'm just going to get my burnishing tool and burnish that down so it's nice and tight. There we have our 5 cent button or disc and our brad on, and now I can glue on my other part of my backing to hide the brad and to keep it stable. Yes, so I was saying that my son set up my YouTube channel, and like I said, I've been doing it for about a year. I think he set it up in October, but we didn't do anything on it until December, just before he left, when he said, I better give you a lesson in editing. So some of you might be thinking, well, what do you do for work, Annie? Well, I work in retail. I have a casual job in retail, and I just work a couple of shifts a week, which is wonderful, being productive and staying active and all those sorts of things. But before that, I used to be a designer. I used to be an interior designer, and I used to teach interior design and building design. I worked as a designer for years, and then I started teaching design and taught design for about 10 years at a college here in Brisbane. I used to teach architectural studies and all different types, construction and working drawings and architectural illustration. And so I would do lots of creative things, teaching watercolor or perspective drawing, and I used to teach color theory and design principles and lots of different things. And then about 8.5 years ago, my husband and I, we went off to get our whooping cough and tetanus injection because my daughter was having our first grandchild. And I have quite a few allergies. Well, I reacted to it, and I lost my sight. And I lost my sight in both my eyes. It took quite a while for it to come back, and I feel very, very blessed that I got my sight back now. As you can see here, I'm just doing the same thing again, putting a hole in my disc and putting it onto here before I stick it down. so that I can conceal the brad. So I'm just lining up where I want it. So I was unable to teach anymore, and I still have a few sight problems. I don't drive at night, and I can't really do any work at the computer for very long, which then that meant that I couldn't teach. When I'm editing, I only edit for short periods of time, but I do feel extremely blessed that I have my sight. It was a bit of a miracle, really, that I got my sight back. So I pretty much retired at a very young age I'm in my late 50s now. And then my son decided to move to Europe, and my granddaughter, who I was looking after, my grandson was at school, and my granddaughter, she started prep this year. So I decided that I needed to get a casual job to keep myself a little bit busy. So I work in casual job in retail and do YouTube. But I love design. I actually really enjoy teaching. I like teaching the principles of design and how things work. And so you'll probably notice that I talk about lots of things in the videos about balance and proportion and scale and all those sorts of things. Now you can see that I have just glued down that after I put the brad on, I glued my front on my envelope. So that's me. A little catch up, my background, and we have a nice envelope. This is going to be a lovely envelope to go on probably the inside of a cover of a journal. It would be nice. But let's put a little bit of twine onto it. You can see that it's working as an envelope. Let's pop this in, you'll see working perfectly as an envelope. And the brad is not catching because we opened it up and we concealed it before we glued the composition down. All right, let's put some twine on and finish this up, and then we'll have a look at the other ones that I made. And I'm just using some embroidery floss, and it's number 520. And I'm going to tie that around my 5 cents. And I'll just snip off that excess under there so you can't see it. And I'm just going to tie a couple of knots in the bottom of this. I've just cut enough so that I can wrap it around maybe 3 times around the buttons. Yes, so I'm looking forward to doing a few more things in the challenge. I'm thinking that I might create some sort of journal. I'm not sure what yet. I want to make a few tags. I want to make a few maybe postcards or journaling cards to go in our envelopes. But let me clear the decks and I'll show you all 3 envelopes. Okay, so here's the one we've just finished together. Admittedly, I had quite a bit prepped before I came on camera, but that's okay. You can see that it is a policy envelope, and I've just repurposed a gift card envelope to create the policy envelope. And it's blank on the back. We'll be able to glue that down into a journal, probably on a journal cover, inside cover. And you can see we have some Christmassy themed images, a bell and a girl in her beautiful Christmas coat, and then just some other bits of ephemera to create the story. And you can see it's got a bit of a seeds and flower theme going on. And then we have another very Christmassy one. This one I did a couple of days ago actually. And once again, I used this background and it came out of the Botanicals base kit in green. So I got the background out of there. And I got this piece of paper here out of that as well, and some of these little images. And some of this ephemera, and then the bell and the lady here I got out of our Christmas ephemera mega pack. And once again, it's got just a policy closure that opens up, and it's blank on the back to stick into a journal. I'll just show you up close with that one. You can see I did a little bit of stenciling in the background as well, just with some of my vintage photo. And I finished this one off with some gold splatters. I'm not sure if the camera is picking that up, but I put a few gold splatters on it. I still did the stitching around the edge before I glued down the composition. So for this one here, I got the background and this piece of trim here out of the Christmas Wonder Journaling Pages Mega Pack. And then I got this image here out of the ephemera, but I changed it. I put a image on here to cover up the 25th because I didn't want it to look too Christmassy. I wanted it just to look wintry so that I could put it into a winter journal or into a different journal that wasn't overly Christmassy. And it's got a seeds theme again. It's got farm flower seeds on it, and then 5 cents and some little images of flower. It's got an invoice, so let me open it up. So it's got an invoice up the top here for somebody who's purchased some seeds, and then it's got the habitat type is marshland and a number and just a collection. So it looks a little bit like a seed packet itself. And once again, it's made out of a gift card envelope. So there you go. There's our 3 policy envelopes, using up some junk to make something beautiful. So that's our first project in the challenge. And the challenge name again is called Botanical Christmas Challenge. And it's got a hashtag. So head over to the hashtag to have a look at everyone's. And like I said, I will link Michelle's video and her Etsy shop down below, but head to her video if you're interested in joining. So thank you very much for watching me today. I hope you really like the policy envelopes and enjoyed hearing a little bit about my background. And if you did like the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. That would be much appreciated. And I will see you all very soon. I'm going to possibly do some tags next, and I'm thinking about creating a journal. So stay tuned for that. All right, I hope you're having a wonderful weekend, and I will see you all very soon with another project. Thanks again for watching. Bye for now.